How things look as far as injuries, suspensions heading into the game?
Injuries, okay. I think by and large it's the same, hasn't changed too much. Suspensions, we found out Dero is unavailable for this weekend, which is disappointing, a little harsh maybe. So I think by and large we're ready to go. The group was training hard. Today we did 11v11 stuff, and the group was competitive, that's for sure. So we're going there to look for some points.
Michael wasn't trained today.
Yeah, Michael, so Tuesday he went and saw a specialist and he had a follow-up. So he trained yesterday with the group. He just had a follow-up this morning that he needed to go to. He's going to have he's going to have a follow-up at the end of the season. So he just needed to get that done so he could get some things scheduled for himself. But he'll be with the group. He'll be back tomorrow with us traveling and ready for the weekend.
So he should be able to
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
Well, when early in the season we were told he had a minor procedure on the foot. It was something that had been bothering him and he needed to be fixed. Do we take it now that he still has that issue? Whatever?
Yeah, it's still something, and I think it's kind of nerve related, if I'm understanding correctly. And it was something that he could kind of manage and deal with, but it is highly annoying and painful, I think, at times. And so I think in the last little bit, call it a month or so, that it's been pretty aggravating for him. But he's been able to get through the training sessions and get through the matches appropriately. But I think now that we're getting to the tail end of the season, I think it's something that he really wants to get taken care of for good so we can start moving forward. But I think, from what I understand, it's something that's been bothering him for a good eight months or so, or maybe even a little bit more. So.
And what's Hagelin's status? Is he training fully with you now? He had that knock or hamstring?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a hamstring thing. He was, so he is training, but he wasn't training with the group. He's probably 75% there, so I think he's fine, but he's not with the group, and he won't go necessarily on the trip. So, but I think he's coming back into form. Not that it matters, I guess, at this point in the year.
So he's likely won't play on Sunday?
Yeah, correct.
I'm wondering if we can maybe do a little bit of housekeeping now that it's kind of the end of the year. We spoke last time about this. You said you were expecting confirmation. Do you guys have confirmation on the Chivas USA draft pick for next season?
Yes, we will have that draft pick.
Okay. There was a report in Vancouver about Matthias Laba. Supposedly Toronto FC would be receiving money for him as part of the future considerations. Is there any update to Matthias Laba's status with the club in terms of that future considerations?
Not that I am totally aware of. My assumption is that they like him. I think he's had a good year, and if they do want to keep him, then there has to be some work done between the two clubs for them to keep him. I don't know 100% the details of that.
Is there a possibility that he might return for next season?
Not that I'm aware of. I think that the loan/transfer was something that had to be permanent, based on the fact that we had 3 DPs and couldn't keep a 4th DP kind of on the roster, even though he was on loan. I think that's kind of the breakdown. So it would be difficult to bring him back at this point.
Another player on loan, Bradley Orr. Have you guys considered him for next season, or what's the situation?
I'll have to sit down and talk with Bradley and just kind of see where he's at. Obviously, he's on loan, and he's a veteran guy. He's been outstanding for the team around the locker room, and in the moments he's played, he's had some great moments for sure. So I just need to sit down with Bradley and talk about kind of what he wants to do in his future as well. So it'll be a collaboration between he and I and where he's at.
How do you view this game, Craig? Because I'm not sure you can say that people are playing for jobs. You know what these players can do at this stage. New England, it doesn't really mean anything to them other than they like to keep the momentum going up into the playoffs. What are you looking for out of this final game?
For me, it's a character game. It's there's, in the grand scheme of things, nothing for us to play for. But if you're a true competitor and a winner, then you're going to go out on this field and we're going to find a way to get a result, and we're going to play together. That's one thing. 2 is also us continuing to, I think, wrap our heads around sort of the style of play and the things that we want to do moving forward. Taking care of the ball, how we want to defend, our ideas and our combinations, our relationships around the field, some of those things we've been talking about this week. And it's really coming to our vision and identity as we move forward. There's some things that we want to work out. We don't want to just waste this last game. It's still an opportunity. I still think there's some opportunity for guys to step in and show a little bit of something as well, because decisions will have to be made at the end of the year. But by and large, we have a good sense of what that is. I don't think anyone is necessarily playing for the job, but I think guys can make good cases for themselves this weekend.
And Jermaine spoke to us just a little while ago, and obviously he's frustrated with his physical ailments. He feels that he's got a bad rap this year, I think, from people saying that he's not committed to the cause. Do you see that? And if it is the case, is it maybe not because he didn't really come out right after the transfer window and tell people, the rest of the world, that he wanted to be here?
Yeah, that's possible. I think there was a lot of high-level sort of big business football types of things that were going on. The timing was all that creates speculation for sure, between the injury and the closing of the transfer window. Then all of a sudden rumors that are flying. So I think that's a perfect storm of events that is easy for people to draw a conclusion that he's not engaged or not wanting to be here. I can say just personally from his mouth to ours, I'd never heard that he doesn't want to be here. There's different, obviously, rumors and potentially people associated with him who may have claimed such of things. I don't know, but I've never heard that from him, the player. I've always, and I think as players I knew, high-level players I played with in France or knew, a lot of those guys felt comfortable going and seeing specific doctors and trying to work out their ailments or issues with those because they've known them, especially guys who've been around for a while. I think there's a lot of things swirling that make it easy. And I think he could have definitely helped himself if he would have jumped out publicly immediately saying, hang on a second, I want to be here. There's nothing to this other than I need to get right. I clearly think that would have helped himself for sure.
This is a broader question, Greg, but in terms of MLS in general, how much of it is a copycat league where you can see a team like New England where obviously there's different players in place, but you look at their strengths and what they've been able to do this season, things you can take away yourself with TFC?
Yeah, I think New England has done some interesting things. I think, obviously, you have to look at D.C., who went from a horrendous season last year and has been able to flip it around and win the East, essentially. I think there's little things, but I think those are things that have existed in this league for a long time. D.C., as an example, has been able to go to where they've gone because they went and got pros who know how to win in this league, who understand this league, veterans of this league, and built a core group of guys who really understand that. And this league is unique, no matter what anybody wants to say. It's different than any other league, and it has different expectations. And the more you have, we've tracked over the course of this year the amount of matches played in the league that we have in this league versus our opponents. And anytime we tend to have a higher number of matches, we actually do better in those games. There's more correlation to that in results than when we have a lower number of matches played in this league correlated to the wins. So there's definitely something to understand what it takes to win in this league and what all is out there. And I think that's why I say it takes time. It takes this group to grow and come together, but then also to understand how to win in this league and how to deal with all the uniqueness and the things that are out there. So.
I know you said that Jermaine hasn't come to you and said definitively that he doesn't want to enter the league, but knowing everything that you know, do you expect him to be back in January when the training camp again opens up again?
Candidly, I'm not really sure what to expect. Because I'm not really sure. I know he plays the game. He wants to be successful. I know he wants to score goals. What I'm not sure is how sort of this whole thing, what position he is. Now that he's spent a year in the league, what are his true feelings about this league and the decision that he's made, and does he want to really see this out, and is this really where he wants to really push his career? These are all conversations that we're going to have once this season closes. I have not had those conversations with him. I think it's a dialogue, and I think by and large, again, we want people who want to be here for more than 1 year, for more than 2 years, that can really help us pull this group together and win. And I think that takes a big commitment. We would like to have him back if Jermaine is ready to play and wants to, and is healthy and his mind's in the right place, and he believes in the project, which is for us to be successful. Then he's outstanding. I mean, our results with him in form are much better than our results without him, right? So that's easy to say. So he's a fantastic player. when all things are right for him. So if we can get that guy back, I would take him.
Is that a comment, Greg, on the power of the player these days? Because this club is paying him buckets loads of money. You would think that anybody would be. I mean, from all we know, this club is bent over backwards to make him happy here. I think some people have trouble wondering why somebody would be unhappy with his lot in life.
Yeah, and you know, at the end of the day, he may not be unhappy, he may be frustrated, right, because of the way things turned out. So I don't have any, me personally don't have any issue with anything that is Jermaine. I just want him to, now again, when you get into this league, no matter how much you can do to sit down with a DP or a player who's played at his level and try to explain how this league works and the difficulties and the challenges that you face, until you really go through a year, then you really understand what you're in for, and then you have to make a decision. In my mind, because there's a lot on the line. The club has done a lot for him, and he needs to be all in. He needs to be all in. If he's not all in, then we need to come up with a solution, and we need to find another solution for the club, right? If he's not all in. But again, nothing that I've heard from him is to the contrary. Specifically from him, but we want him to get healthy and want him to know now that he's gone through this year and he knows what's in front of him, that he wants to continue to make this team successful and this club successful.
You and Tim be meeting with the media on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Do you anticipate you will have that answer from him by then?
I hope so. I think before he leaves, I think he's going to go visit with a specialist and checking out the hernia situation to see if that's what it is, and that can get him on the road to healthy. I would say it would be within the next couple of weeks, because we have to make decisions as well. So all things have to be considered, and quickly, because as long as our off season is, things have to happen at a pretty rapid rate. So hopefully by Wednesday, but I can't guarantee that by Wednesday we'll have a clear answer.